YouTube to me is a playground of a wealth of information.
No, that's what I'm telling you about. Yeah, it is. I'll give you an example. I'm not an electrician. I never, I've watched people houses. I mean, I've assisted in wiring houses, but do I actually like know which wire to put in the fuse box or the breaker box? That's where I gets a little edgy there. But the thing about it is, I to learn how to do a double pole light switch. You know what they are. You got
Yeah,
two
yeah.
switches in a room from one light. Yeah, I got on YouTube and looked that up. It had an electrician just had basically built like a little simple demonstration frame, out of 2x4s to show how to set it up, how to wire it, the whole 9 yards. Dude, never done it before in my life. Watched a 10-minute video. Now I can do it.
Well, that's
It's easy.
that's not the transfer switch to be able to pipe the solar into the house here. It's basically 6 switches in a box. Because I don't have the whole house off grid. It's made to run a generator into. They did the same thing. The guy had what you talked about. He had a makeshift wall there. Showed how they demonstrated how to do their product and install it correctly. And
Mm-hmm.
it took me every bit of watching it to install it. I installed mine. I installed Rogers. And yeah, you're right. YouTube is a wealth of information. There's a lot of bullshit out there, but
Yeah.
but there's a lot of good information, a lot of great channels.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of stuff from it, man. I've got my gardening tips for stuff that I haven't grown before out from it. The wood gas, electrical stuff. I mean, even tuning a car, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's off the charts. It's a wealth of information, and
Oh, yeah.
you get
Exactly.
people out there that just load crap up there, and it's like, come on, now you can do better than that. But
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes. So you got to go through the chaff to get to the wheat, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the old days of YouTube, Cliff High would be on there. Now he's basically they just throw him off. They always give him strikes and all that stuff. But back in the old days, he was talking to a guy who, by the way, is going to be a guest this week. His name is V. And anyway, I've listened to this guy from. How long ago was Freedom Slips Radio? How long ago was it? Like 2015, something like that. When was?
Oh yeah, it's way back here. That's
Okay,
with
that's
Sean David Morton.
Yeah. He's trying to come back out again. So, but good luck to him. Really. But yeah, he was talking about economics and this kind of stuff, and he did an interview with Cliff High, and it's on YouTube, and it's probably off now, but they were talking about Bitcoin. That was the very first day I heard about Bitcoin or heard about crypto. Was my introduction to it through V and Cliff High, an interview we did with Cliff High. And hell, this is back like in 2015. I wish I'd started buying in 2015. I could have picked that stuff up for like $20-30 in 2015. And our mutual friend that works at a certain agency or used to retired from a certain agency, he said, hell, dude, yeah, we're seeing that stuff. He said, I could have picked it up for $1. And he's like, I could kick myself in the ass. He was just right there in the middle of it. That, I was thinking, okay, what is this agency looking at crypto for back, about, 12 years ago, 12 years ago. So, yeah, I get it. I get all the conspiracies and what have you and stuff.
That would be a 3-letter agency where they wear black hats and sunglasses.
Exactly.
And the first hint is it's not the FBI.
yeah, exactly. But he's a good guy. He's I consider him a brother, man. Yeah, and I met him through a mutual friend of ours, Mobius. Mobius did an interview. I think you even heard it. We were talking about. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, our mutual friend, which I will not name, sent me the link to you and Mobius. I told you the story about that, didn't I?
Go ahead. Tell me.
If Mobius, if you hear this, man, you'll appreciate it. I came in and Rick sent it. Sorry about that. I'll bleep that out. Had sent it to me, and I was playing it, and Gail and I decided we were going to lay back and just kind of chill out a little bit. We made the room real dark, put some dark curtains up, and man, we both went off to sleep while this interview was going, and it was playing in my dream. And I dreamed that I was interacting with you guys and I was talking to you and I was trying to ask you questions and you were ignoring me. I was like, man, why the hell are you and avoiding me? A couple of times you would talk to me. That was my brain filling in the holes. And it was just so funny. But I heard the whole interview in my sleep and I woke up And I started laughing. I was like, man, I said, I got to tell you the story whenever I talk to you next. And I heard
Oh yeah.
the whole thing, and I was sitting in a room, in a living room, sitting in a chair, and you guys were sitting in the room having your discussion, and I was kind of interacting with you, but I wasn't getting a response back. Of course, I wasn't, because I was listening to a recording.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just, and again, it's the kind of people that I surround myself with. And I always have like this running joke on the show that, you know, if I'm the smartest man in the room, it's time for me to find another room.
You damn
I
right
mean,
on that. That's the way I feel about it.
yeah, exactly. So I always try to surround myself with people I think are either more talented than me or smarter than me. And and again, it's just really amazing the kind of things I've been able to learn, and the kind of people I was able to meet. Because honestly, if it hadn't been for I was working on optical engineering. You remember that one time I was trying to take a TV and make a big screen TV and start from scratch, and that's how I met Nick Atchison. And he and we both worked on a couple of patents together. And so, I mean, we co-patented a couple of things in optical engineering. Mike, I don't know shit about optical engineering. And I have, how I finally figured out how light works through lenses is how it works. Imagine a billiard table, a pool table, a regular pool table, and you take a ball and you bounce it off the bank of the pool table and it goes to a certain angle. Well, that's optical engineering. All it is the bending of light. That's all it's about. It's just got one, changing the direction of something and shifting it and focusing it into a point. I mean, it's really weird stuff. It's really strange stuff. But again, hell, I didn't know shit about optical engineering, and I'm sitting here, I'm dealing with one of the top guys in Silicon Valley, or it used to be one of the top dogs. He's the whiz kid, at one time. And I'm thinking, holy shit, I didn't even know who the hell I was talking to. I didn't know who Nick was. And so it was the damnest thing. But, it's amazing. And, and this is one thing. I was telling everybody the story about how I got into radionics. And you remember a long time ago, this had to have been, my daughter would have been 4 years old. So it had been almost about 1995, somewhere in that neighborhood. I gave you a book, and we were looking through this thing, and it was called Mind of Machines You Can Build.
Yep, I remember that.
Guy, yeah, and we are looking at it, and they show that circuit, and you kind of looked at it and said, well, hey, that's just an audio circuit. This is a bunch of bullshit. And I said, okay. That became my career.
Yeah, pretty much. And people will be amazed. I mean, you've done with the radionics, you guys have done ghost hunting with it. You know what, man? Tell people, just because people on my channel would find this very interesting. Some of the stuff you've done with it, because it's a mind blower.
Okay, all right. The latest, what I consider a big thing. I mean, I've done all kinds of stuff. Cell houses or whatever. The only thing I will not get involved in is anything that's health related or medical related, because the history of radionics, that's what got people in trouble. Okay, when they were doing kind of medical stuff with this technology, they'd be accused of medical quackery and get arrested and that kind of thing. So that's just one thing. I don't want to go down that road, but
no,
anything else,
I understand that.
Yeah, but okay, here's something I think I kind of refer to it a lot because it's something I can document. Okay, I decided I was going to do something major, so I could document this thing. And this is going to be the second time I've done this at the same area, same part of the world. I had a client. Well, actually, I did 3 major weather anomalies for this particular client. I had a client who had a legal issue, and wanted by the FBI. What do you call it? Interpol. She went to the embassy. She was getting her American passport updated, and they confiscated her passport. And she was in Kuwait, a Middle Eastern country, a Caucasian American woman in a Middle Eastern country. Okay. She was trapped. The embassy had taken her passport away, and she had no documents. And she said the only way, because she was a fugitive, she did some kind of victimless crime thing, and she was a fugitive. She was considered a fugitive, so they had to, take her in manacles, cross the, back to the U.S. to stand trial and all this stuff. And she said, "I'll be damned if I'm going to do that." But anyway, that was the situation. That was the situation. So we're working on radionics. The first thing I did I asked her, she said it was taking like 6 months, and she said, "Well, this is a bunch of crap. This is, this doesn't work. I mean, this doesn't work for me." And I said, okay, well, still, you got a very difficult case here. There's a lot of wheels that have to turn in order for you to, get a lot of things taken care of so you get your documents back. But that's beside the point. And I asked her a question. I said, "How many times does it rain where you're at?" She said, it only I might get a couple of spring showers, maybe every year. I mean, I live in a freaking desert. Okay, I'm in a desert. It doesn't rain here." And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem, no problem." I set a machine, Mike, for this thing to go to have it rain in Kuwait City, Kuwait. That's where she was at.
You
And
did
here's
it in
what
a
happened.
specific time frame window too.
Well,
Be
no,
sure to let everybody.
okay,
Or
well,
did you?
this is how it progressed. I'm giving the history here. This is
Okay, sorry
this
about that.
method I'm at. No, no worries, no worries. So I said I wanted it to rain. This is the first time I started messing with that part of the world, and you can document all this stuff. I even got videos, all the like the streets turning to rivers. I got Lamborghinis piled up against the wall. You got all the Kuwaitis out there going, "What the hell's going on?" Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now that
But
you
anyway,
tell me this, so I need to black your face out from this video.
I've told it many times.
I'm joking.
Hey,
Go
I'm
ahead,
just a
go ahead.
quack. I'm just a quack. I'm just a quack. This is all a
A
joke. This is
big,
all fiction.
a big
Yeah,
facade. Never
yeah,
mind.
it's a big
You just need to
facade.
see the
Yeah, it's
movie.
totally fiction. Yeah, 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 exactly. But yeah, but I've told the story many times, and again, I'm lying. I didn't do any of this, but it makes it a
Okay.
nice story. All right. So anyway, so I set up a machine for for it to rain there. Here's what happened within 2 weeks. A storm front comes out of India, goes to the Persian Gulf. When it hits the Persian Gulf, it immediately goes north, right into Kuwait, and drops 6 inches of rain in her location in less than 2 weeks. All right. So that's the first thing I did. A couple of years later, I decided, I wanted to mess with her a little bit more. Plus, I got had a good friend of mine who was deployed in the army over in Kuwait, also for shoot for the military, and I thought I'd mess with them both. And I said I'm gonna set this thing to snow in Kuwait. I didn't really put a time frame on this one. Okay, I set it to snow in Kuwait.
But you did
Within
eventually on another one. You did.
Yeah, yeah. The third experiment, I went ahead and did. I documented it. Okay, but anyway, this is the second time. The second time I was doing any kind of weather anomalies. Okay, set it for it to snow in Kuwait. Within about 2 weeks, it snows. I think it was January the 28th, 2016. January the 28th, 2016. You can look that up. That's the day it started snowing. That was the first time in recorded history that it snowed in Kuwait. First time in recorded history. All right. The next time, this is the third time, I documented it. I said, this was for 2022, Christmas 2022. I documented it on my show. I said, right there, I'm going to do a weather anomaly. And then, I'm going to make it snow. I'm going to try to see if I can use radionics to make it snow on Christmas Day in Kuwait. So I went ahead and turned the machine. All right, for Christmas Day, Kuwait, for it to snow. Christmas, the 25th didn't snow. The 26th, it didn't snow. The 27th, it snowed. The 27th, 2 days after Christmas, it finally snowed over there. I was 2 days off, but whatever. And the headlines in the papers were first time ever is it snowed in Kuwait. Well, that's bullshit. It snowed about about 6 years earlier. But they forget about that. But anyway, they said the first time in recorded history, it snowed in Kuwait. And so these are 3 experiments. And that one I have documented. I also have it going back and forth with the person that I was doing, who actually lived in Kuwait, that I was messing with. Was a good friend of mine I like to joke with. And actually have her, the texts are in the chat room of this entire thing going on. And it's time stamped. Everything's time stamped. And it proves that, yeah, I set it about a month ahead for it to snow there. And sure enough, I was off by 2 days, but still it snowed, and it was such a major event. It was in the headlines and whatever. I mean, that's okay. That's the latest thing I've done. I've worked on a lot of different projects with a lot of different people. Um, I've worked on. Let's see, this again. This is going to be for your listeners, not really for mine, because I've already told a lot of these stories. But this is just for the new people. Um, I went. I was working with this individual who I thought was, I should have known it was going to turn to be psychotic. I realized it was going to be a mess.
Psychotic.
Yeah, I knew it was going to turn out to be psychotic as the person I was working with. But anyway, this person's fairly famous. I mean, they do a lot of media or whatever, national media, and they have a reputation for cryptids and that kind of a thing. And so anyway, they want to do a show on the internet, and this person calls me up and says, "Hey, can you do this? We're gonna go to the cemetery up in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and it's supposed to be haunted and all this other stuff." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Bring your radionics machines. We're gonna have you on there on the show. We want you to tune the machines and all this stuff promote promote paranormal activity." And I said, "Okay, all right, no problem." I figured it's an adventure. What the hell? I'll go ahead and do this. Who knows? All right, go up there. I meet this Bigfoot guy out of Colorado. The priest, who's like he's a bishop, a Catholic bishop out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's like one of the top exorcists in the country. I did a show with him, by the way. His name is Bishop James Long. He's up there. So I go through there, and they had like this thing called the obelisk, and it's pretty interesting. Mike, you're familiar with the ghost box, right? And, it's
Yep.
like a thing that picks up words, okay, and it forms sentences somehow or another. We don't know why, but it and supposedly spirits can easily talk, communicate with this thing or communicate with us using this kind of technology. Whether it's real or
Yep.
not, I'm not going to judge, but that's what they do. Anyway, we go to the back of the cemetery with the priest, right? The Bigfoot guy, the priest, and myself. All right, he starts using an obelisk, and here's this is the first thing it says. The priest goes, "Are there any messages for us? Anything that you'd like to tell us?" And then the three words come out of that obelisk, that ghost box: run, go, leave. Okay. And I looked at him like, I think that's a pretty clear message. I think that's pretty direct. Run, go, leave. You asked, any messages for us? Basically, it's telling us to get the hell out of there. That's what it's telling us. Okay. So then he goes, are there any messages that you, and I'm thinking to myself, you really, man. But then here's what creeped me out the most, Mike. I had two entities. It sounded like there was two people talking to each other on this obelisk, and they started describing me. And I was wearing a firearm. I was wearing a sidearm. And they started describing what I was wearing, what my, physical description. Said he has a gun, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, there's something here, and it knows that I'm here. Okay, all right, gets even better. All right, so we go back to the front of the cemetery because there's no reception inside the cemetery. You go back to the front of the cemetery. The priest gets on there. He's got like one bar. He's trying to talk to this individual that has this show, and I mean, and he's trying to explain what was going on. And as he does this, I see two cars going. It's a single lane mountain road that takes you to the cemetery. I see two cars that are like winding through a cemetery or winding through this road coming up to us. I'm thinking, oh, it's the cops. Okay, if it's the cops, I'll let the priest take care of it. Tell him it's a religious ceremony. Or maybe he make up some bullshit. I don't care, And so anyway, I just don't want to spend the night in a jail in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That's all I was really concerned with. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So these two cars come up there, and they open the door, and it's like two carloads of like these 15, 16, 17-year-old teenage girls. These young girls. I mean, they're not. I mean, underage. Okay, underage girls. It's just two carloads of them. It had to have been 8, maybe 12. It was a lot of them. And so they were talking to the priest, and they're saying, "Oh, we heard all about this place. We kind of want to go up here and see what it's all about." And they're right, and they were finishing up on the interview with the host and on the phone, and they said, "Okay, let's do this." So, and they said, "Hey, Brad, why don't you come along with us?" I said, "Nah, I've had enough. With that ghost box describing me. I think that's enough. I'm just going to stay right here." And I think I was having like a cup of coffee or something. Anyway, they go back there, and I'm just minding my own business, and I was sitting here just screaming, and they start running out of the cemetery, and the first person to jump out was the priest. He's the very first person. He outran everybody there. Okay, and I said, "What the hell happened here?" And he said, "There's some kind of an 8-foot tall shadow creature. Okay, it was darker than dark, and everybody saw it. Everybody, the girl saw it, the Bigfoot guy saw it, the priest saw it. Everybody saw it. Okay," and he said, "It was just trotting along in front of us, 8 feet tall. You could hear it was so dark. It was darker than dark. Okay, it was a dark night, and they could still see it. They could make it out, and And so I said, okay, that sounds really interesting. And anyway, they were telling the host about what they just got finished seeing and whatever. The priest goes to the girls, reassures them that they're going to be safe, tell them to drive home safe. He's going to give them a little blessing, and make sure no little ghoulies follow them home. So they leave. And then as soon as they leave, the priest looks at us and says, I don't know about you two, but I'm in danger of my life. I'm getting the hell out of here. And I said, well, I'm not going to stay here by myself. I am following you. So we go back down that mountain road all the way back. And I'm going to tell you, again, my job was to promote paranormal activity. That, it convinced me that of haunted places. That one thing did convince me of haunted places. And I even set up another machine because, I always like to incorporate, angelic spiritual things. And I was looking like for Michael, Saint Michael or Archangel Michael to kind of overlook things to keep my ass out of trouble with these things. And so I even set up a machine for protection and I set another one to promote paranormal activity. And apparently everybody got their money's worth. So I was happy. And another thing that I think is kind of off the beaten path that I did, like UFOs, like you were talking about.
Yeah, I find that very interesting, to say the least.
This is a true story. And since you're a tech guy, maybe you can kind of hone in on this and what you think could have happened to create this anomaly. Joshua P. Warren, matter of fact, he has a website. It's called the Arecibo Project. The Arecibo Project. It's out of Puerto Rico where he did this thing. And he wanted me to set a machine to promote UFO activity. In other words, he wanted to be able to set the machine to be able to photograph or have a film of a UFO, have rolling footage of a UFO. And I said, okay, I'll do it. All thing I had to work with was the longitude and the backstory. To back up a little bit, he was doing this in honor of the WOW, the WOW signal out of Ohio. It's like a signal they received on a radio telescope. It's just zeros and ones, but it represented, I think it was like 432 hertz or something like that, some kind of a signal. Okay, and it's like 432 hertz and it's continuous. They said this couldn't be natural. And so that's the reason why they call it the WOW signal. They thought possibly we could have had contact with extraterrestrial life, quote unquote. And this is back in the 70s. So in honor of the anniversary, Josh is going to do this Arecibo project. He gets George Norrie from Coast to Coast to come in there and say, hey, to anybody's listening to this, we welcome you to our planet, yada, yada, that kind of thing. And good luck to Joshua on this project, yada, yada, yada. All right, so the day comes, all right? Again, only thing I have to work with is the signal. I had a digital representation of it on a thumb drive. I think it was a thumb drive. It was either a thumb drive or it was a thumb drive because it was more portable. A thumb drive. I had the longitude and latitude of where this camera was going to be to photograph this UFO, and I had the date that the camera was going to be active. Now, that's all I had. That's all the information I had. Okay, so I set a machine for Joshua to be able to photograph UFO activity. All right, so the cameras start first thing in the morning. 1 hour passed, nothing. 2 hours passed, nothing. 3 hours passed, nothing. 4, 5, I think it was 6 hours. 6 hours, like this is on the 6th or 7th hour. What happens is they see an acorn-shaped, and this is photographed, an acorn-shaped something. It looked like a UFO, whatever. Drops out of the sky, is there in plain sight, almost center view of the camera. I mean, it's almost perfect. And it just stays there for a couple of seconds, then immediately pops back up in the sky. Okay? Now, here is the rest of the story where I want your input on this. When this thing appeared, apparently there was also a simultaneous frequency that was going with the feed, and Mobius was in charge of the feed. Okay, and Mobius is honest.
I vaguely remember this. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. He had direct feed from Puerto Rico, through the internet to his shop or his laboratory over in North Carolina to monitor all this stuff for Josh and record it and make sure nothing screws up. Okay, because Josh is out there in the field, and so he's kind of like working, taking care of all the behind the scenes tech stuff. All right. When this thing drops out of the sky, there's an audio anomaly that appears with it simultaneously, and it disappears as soon as the UFO disappears. And it was right at, I think, Mobius figured it out between 430, 432 hertz. Now, my question to you is, he said that all the cables were shielded, And so, how in the hell, when this thing pops out, can you get an audio signal? How's it? How the cables pick up an audio signal? Because apparently there's no microphone to this, just a camera.
There's no telling, Brad. There's really no telling. Even though the stuff was shielded, it could have been some sort of it could have been anything. Magnetic waves or some sort of RF radiation that penetrated the wires. It could have been anything. I do remember this.
Yeah, yeah, and
I don't have anything to offer on this.
Hey, I even asked, I was asking Mobius. He's right there, with the equipment, and I said, "Hey, Mobius, what do you think?" And he said, "I don't even have an answer." He said, "I don't know." I said, and "He's there, and that guy's an engineer himself. And that's what he did. He's spent his career on communications. He has he's working the same line of technology as you have. He's working the same kind of stuff, and so it's he had no explanation either. So that's what I'm telling you. That's what we picked up on this thing, and that was something. And there's like one other UFO story. It's not as big as this one, but basically to sum it up, it was Sault Ste. Marie. It was during August. I don't remember the year, but I think let's see. There's a couple other famous radio people were on there, and anyway, Joshua wanted me to set a machine for people to witness a UFO at 10 o'clock at night up in this place in Sault Ste. Marie, which is like right across the border. It's like upstate Michigan, right across the border from Canada. And so we go through all this stuff, and I set up a machine, and at 10 o'clock, crowd comes in. They come out, okay, and they start looking at the. This was
televised too, wasn't it, Brad?
Yeah, he had everything photo. Yeah, he was picturing. I don't know if it was televised, but he had.
I thought it was recorded. It was recorded though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was recorded. It was recorded. And
okay, I remember this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so, they're out there in the parking lot, and they look up and they say, "Oh, there it is." They see these lights coming across there, and everybody's saying, "Oh, I took a picture of this." And so, you have people come out there and say, "Oh, did you really see something?" And say, "Yeah, it was right up there." And so the point of it is, whether or not it's UFO, that's I can't say. But the people there, these were the events that Joshua wanted to occur, was for people to witness UFO type activity or UFO activity, and that in their minds, that's what they saw. They saw some weird lights up in the sky. So I mean, these are some of the things I've worked on. Weather, dealing with a haunted graveyard, UFOs and that kind of a thing. And these are some of the off the wall things. But really, I've done stuff with people for I have like I like to. I've always wondered about magicians. You and I, we talk about we kid around talk about Merlin or whatever. But I actually wanted to see what real magicians were like, black magicians were like. And I met this guy through this crazy individual. I met this guy named J.S. Garrett, and he was a black magician. And frankly, that doesn't appeal to me. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But here's what he did: he used radionics with magic, and he said that by doing that, it's just as effective as he would like with his ceremonies or what have you. And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So I came to the conclusion that magic and radionics are basically the other side of the coin. And so,
my opinion is on that. I mean, I know we watch television shows; they're not historically correct, but you see the Merlin or somebody who's got his wand, and right. I view the radionics box, like you said, as a wand. It's a 21st century wand with knobs on it, input outputs, and like you said, you take it, you put your intentions into it, and basically what you're doing, if you're really doing it like it should be, the way you say it, you're concentrating on it without having that concentration broke up, and you're dialing the knobs and you're feeling the stick plate, and when you feel it stick, you move on to the next one. You keep doing it until you put your intentions on it. And for those of you watching my channel, I've got an old box right here.
Oh, that's one of the old models. Yeah,
that's one of the old ones you gave me, man. And,
yeah.
So this is what this guy builds right here, and Let's put it this way. He's built a bunch of them. I'll leave it at that. And
yeah. Oh man,
so the radionics box, I mean, you know, I think everything is a matrix. We've talked about this before. On some level, everything is the matrix. And
yeah, exactly.
That's what I see when I see somebody that says that doesn't believe in God or something. It doesn't matter if it's the God of the Bible or what you believe in. There is a creator. And I'm sorry, but trees, tadpoles, and automobiles and things we do and we dream out of our minds and everything else on this planet is not coincidence. You know, there's a grand designer, there's a creator. I call that creator God.
Yeah,
and
I agree. I agree. Yeah, exactly.
There's no getting out of that. And you know, there's something to prayer, there's something to good intentions, and there's something to bad intentions.
Well, I tell you, you know, this was a problem that really bothered me. There, Flash. You know, how in the hell could I explain this to, say, a physicist or to engineer, how this thing works and not be laughed at? Well, I mean, they're going to laugh at the idea. I get all that, but at least is there like some kind of experiment, like something that's actually out there, is in the textbooks, that, or you know, that's commonly known, that would back up what I am doing with this device, how it really truly works. And this is the secret. It took me, I even set a machine to find out how these things work. And it's real simple. It's all based upon the double slit experiment, and it's a experiment that they use in quantum mechanics, and it really proves a lot of interesting things.
Have you ever done that experiment yourself?
Yeah,
I have too, and that's a mind blower. And for anybody, any of you guys out there that want to do the double slit experiment, go to YouTube and look it up on YouTube and do it for yourself, because you can do this with a piece of cardboard and a light, and I can promise you, you'll come off out of it with more questions than answers. So go back to what you were saying.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, there's plenty of stuff on there about the double slit experiment. You can watch cartoons about it, find real simple ways of reproducing it in a laboratory for yourself, whatever. It's no big deal. It's real simple stuff. But here's what it proves. The double slit experiment proves that when matter is not observed or measured, it behaves like energy. In other words, it exists, but it doesn't exist. It's nothing but potential. It has the potential to exist. All right. But when matter is observed or measured, it goes back to behaving like matter again, like a solid thing, like a real thing, reality. Okay. That's what we have around us. Basically, what we're witnessing here is a double slit experiment. Things exist because there's something, a higher intelligence. God is, you know, which I will not argue with. I tend to agree the same with you on that very same issue. But when things are created, it's usually because of observation and measurement. And what these machines do, the reason why they work, is they are nothing but a device that takes your consciousness and focuses your consciousness and figures out the energy signature, because these are potentiometers, and what it will do, it'll figure out the energy signature or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in this reality. And once you set the machine for that proper sequence, you know, for each one at the proper position, what it will do is it will act as a hack into reality. It will start to concentrate and focus on reality 24/7. Once you set it, you forget it. The machine's doing the job now. It's a tool.
I remember the first ones that was this in that little book of doing the machine on paper?
Yeah. Virtual wishing machine. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Yeah. And basically, it was just a electronic circuit. You know, in a weird kind of way, it could work, but it won't be as effective as a physical machine.
No,
I'm not trying
to
sell
that.
machines. It's just the way it is. I've worked with all of them. I've worked with like virtual machines that you would have that would be on your computer monitor. I've worked with, you know, paper machines like you were discussing, and I've worked with actual physical machines. The physical ones of all of them, I find to be the most effective. Yeah, that right there is I would say 1,000 times more effective than a actual written machine. And I mean,
there's the stick plate, the copper plate, that's your input, and then you got your knobs for dialing it in. And for some of you guys that may find this interesting or maybe want one of these boxes, there'll be a link to his channel, and you can check him out on this. Like I said, my channel is hit and miss. Somebody sees something. Some of my videos, I mean, it's crazy. One of the last videos that I did that took a lot of hits was I actually dissected which just doesn't mean anything to you, but I had an IMAX 2000 CB radio antenna and the fiberglass. So I dissected, I reversed engineered and made a video. And man, I think I went up at 10,000 views in that video. I did a couple of CB radio videos, including me up there.
I remember those.
Screwing with the truckers. Or talking, talking skip on channel 19. I mean, just, you know, and, but you know, something like this, I look for a video like this to catch people's attention because it's got content, it's interesting. That's why I wanted to do this as a video, not just two voices speaking, which, you know, riding down the road, I can't watch videos. I listen. 98% of the stuff I listen to is listening, but if I'm at the house, I want to see a video of it. I want to see interaction.
Oh yeah, totally cool. But
so anyhow, going back to the box, I didn't mean to throw you off on that.
No, you're quite all right. But yeah, again, the box is nothing but it's just merely an observer. And what it boils down to is an observer. It's just an extension of your consciousness, and it just is hacking into reality. And so, I mean, that's just really it. It's very simple. When you think about the idea behind it is very simple. And you know, I always wonder, okay, is this just a placebo effect? You know, that kind of thing. But you know, and I was joking with Flash here. You know, I'm not Merlin. I don't have a magic wand where I can say something's gonna happen, and it happens. I mean, you know, that's just, I don't have that ability. That's not me. But with these machines, anybody can do what I'm doing. That's the beauty behind it. I've done some really interesting things that I cannot discuss in public, and it was a little scary. I have to admit, I kind of scared myself.
We both did some very interesting things that we can't discuss in public.
Yeah, exactly.
We made quite a few people see quite a few very interesting things that weren't there that they can't talk about in public. But that's another story. But you're talking about something that would probably have a three-letter agency maybe want to come have a conversation with you in a dark room,
possibly,
or something along those. Yeah. I know what you're saying, man.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, that's just me. That's just what I do. But no, like I said, the Dr. Mulder show, and I'm gonna have this show on there also, because what I'm trying to do is just kind of build a catalog of different things, things that interest me personally. And this is one of the things that interests me, and I thought it'd be a great idea to, you know, to come on here and, you know, do a show together with you. And I thought, what the hell, let's do it. You know, let's do it. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it turned out great. I mean, I really did. I mean, hey, you know, at least we got.
Well, you know, the clown shoes are going to come out on me. You put a camera in front of me, the clown shoes and the bullshit will come out.
Who cares? That doesn't bother me. You know, I don't really care. I
try not to say things that you wish you wouldn't have been said. So some people they can't control that. I won't name them in particular, but we got somebody that the way the gears work in their body is mouth opens first before brain engages. So I try to at least have a little couth about it.
Yeah. You know, me too. I mean, hey, we all, you know, slip of the tongue every once in a while, but I totally understand where you're coming from on that. But yeah, I mean, just you know, it was great to do this here. And let's see. Oh, I'm doing on my personal channel. I'm going to be Thursday. I'm going to have do an interview with V, the guy I was telling you about earlier, and we're talking about economics and you know, crypto, metals, the general lay of the land when it comes to the U.S. and you know, and the rest of the world. Also, I'm going to ask him about BRICS and the SWIFT monetary systems and get a better understanding of that. That's some of the things I'm going to talk to him about. Also, we're going to have a gentleman by the name of Algo Cowboy, and he goes by Cowboy for short. Cowboy, this guy is one of the top traders in the country. He makes money at doing what he does, and he's come up with a way of teaching others how to do what he, you know, the algorithm, how how he's able to make trades, things he's looking for when he makes a trade, and it's a system to it. I mean, yeah, is this thing basically controlled? Of course it's controlled. The big guys they control everything. They're controlling
You're
everything.
talking about cryptos now, so people
Yeah,
understand what you're talking about.
crypto. Sorry about that. And
Crypto trading in particular.
Yeah, exactly. And I find the blockchain, I find it fascinating, the technology behind it, and what they're able to do with it. And like I said, it's something the rest of the world is accepting. And in the U.S. we're trying to go there, but they're just trying to do it in the wrong way where they can control us. They're not trying to make it free, and so it'll never work in this country. But anyway, that's some of the things I'm working on. I'm interested in. I'm going to have an interview with them, and then I'm going to talk about some stuff with a good friend of mine. I just met him over the weekend. He's a computer scientist. He has a show on the I think on Facebook. It's called Scary Chat. I'm going to be talking to him on Friday or Thursday evening live, and we're going to be discussing these machines because he's been looking at them, experimenting, with something. And he has a million questions he wants to ask on that show. So my Thursdays are going to be booked. But anyway, it's just some things that are happening this week. But I enjoy doing this. I never really liked. Go ahead.
I said, yeah. I mean, it just took me a while to get set up. I had to get this computer set up, and
no worries, no worries.
Put some method to the madness here because, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I could do this as squeaky trouble-free as possible without everything screwing up on me here. When this goes up on my channel, hopefully some of the people that drop by my channel will come over to your channel and see what you got going on too.
Well, it's interesting for sure. And like I said, this is just stuff that you'll never. I can't find it anywhere else. But if you really want to get into how reality works and how things really work and all these, you got all these what do you call it, motivational speakers and all this stuff. I get it. Yeah, it's fine. What I'm looking at, how do you change reality? How can it really be changed, and what's the easiest way to hack it? And that's really been the focus of my show. So what can I say? All right. Well, anyway, I guess I'm. I guess
well, I got that cartoon voice in my head, man. Talking about changing reality. Everything's purple, man. Okay.
Yeah. It's too purple, man. It's
purple, man. That's an inside joke here. Well, anyhow, look, it's a great interview. I appreciate you wanting to do this, and it'll be up on my channel. And so if you guys out there that are watching it on my channel, go over there and check out what he's doing. And if you're interested in radionics stuff, this guy here is one of the top people in the country, or the world probably doing this.
In the world.
Yeah.
I'm on the top in the world. What I do.
Yeah, you're one of the big dogs, and that's saying something.
I'm one of the big dogs. Yeah. Hey, I made a career out of it.
Yeah.
So, but
some people made a career out of robbing banks. Some people made a career out of singing. You made a career out of radionics boxes. So there you go, man. But
exactly.
all joking aside, I mean, you're this interview here. Now, the main reason I'm doing it because this guy is somebody. Yeah, we got a lot of interesting history with interesting projects, and I'll leave it at that. But anyhow, man, like I said, I will do a little bit of editing on this. I do want to put a few pictures in of a couple of things that I'm doing. Plus, I'm going to make sure that anybody that does want to try their hand at the Woodgas stuff, they can find my videos and my information and information in general on this topic, so they know where to go with it. So on that note, I figured we'd be losing power here, man. We had lightning all around us tonight, and when we took a break, I had to go outside. I had compost on the ground drying that for the garden, and I thought, man, I'm not going to let this get rained on. I had to go out there and scoop all that up in the dark, put it back in a barrel, because I had it sun drying on some cardboard today. So that was interesting. So when you took a break to go smoke a cigarette and drink water, I took a break to go dig in dirt in the dark.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
all right. Well, hey,
yeah.
Go ahead.
And one more thing, anybody else out there, I'm going to be doing a couple more videos here. One's going to be on gardening. Another one's going to be on the solar the extra stuff I've done to the system. I think it's worth sharing with everybody. So keep an eye out for that too. All right, man. Well, on that note, you want to sign us off?
Signing off. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
10-4, over and out.